I am entirely in favor of the Kingdom of Denmark in their anti-imperialist endeavors. Okay, I am on the side of the kingdom. I am on the side of the Greenlanders. I wish them well. They must get nukes immediately, I think. Anyway, let's get to Greenland and Donald Trump. Donald Trump's latest fascination, his hyperfixation, is Greenland. And if you actually don't appreciate that, then you're being insensitive. Okay? This is his hyperfixation. Roachman can't talk about Greenland. We know why. Yeah. He can't base this stuff.
Trump issuing a new threat to our European
Euro cucks. Go ask him.
allies who oppose a U.S. takeover of Greenland. Trump posting on Truth Social that 8 of our NATO allies, including Denmark, France, Germany, and the United Kingdom, will face 10% tariffs starting on February 1st. Adding that those tariffs will jump to 25% in June until a deal is reached for the complete and total purchase of Greenland.
Just pull out of NATO if it doesn't help you acquire Greenland. If it doesn't lead the way.
Well, we're going to see. NATO has been dealing with us on Greenland. We need Greenland for national security very badly.
The president refusing to back down from his months-long pressure campaign to control Greenland, saying anything less than that is completely unacceptable, and has not ruled out the use of military force to take the Arctic island from our NATO ally, Denmark. A bipartisan group of senators now in Denmark trying to cool tensions.
We cannot allow this to become a partisan matter. We just simply cannot.
Do the officials in Denmark and Greenland take President Trump's threats seriously?
Very seriously. In fact, they're alarmed. Danish political leaders are preparing for the possibility that the United States, instead of being a close and trusted ally, might become an adversary, and they're gravely concerned.
European leaders outraged over Trump's tariff threat. Sweden says they will not be blackmailed. France says no intimidation nor threat will influence us. Those countries targeted with tariffs have sent small groups of military forces to the island nation in support of Denmark.
Greenland's not for sale!
It comes as thousands march through the street of Copenhagen today in protest. Many waving Greenland's flag, holding signs reading, "Make America Smart Again" and "Hands Off." And demonstrators brave the cold in Greenland, making their message to the president clear.
We are not interested in being Americans.
Now, President Trump insists the U.S. needs Greenland.
Dude, I love that. That's like my funniest takeaway from this entire thing is when they just keep saying over and over again, this is a fate worse than death. Like whenever they keep going, we're going to die. We don't want to be American. Please don't make us American. We hate the concept of becoming American. Please, 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 please. And I get it. Like it's so real. It's so real because it's like you literally have healthcare. Like imagine having healthcare and all this other shit. Like you have at least some semblance of a social democracy. And then America comes in and is like, we're just going to take all of that away from you. Have a TikTok now claiming to be Chinese. Americans don't even want to be American. Yeah, me. And to be fair, like, I can't even blame them. I can't blame them. It's dog shit. My favorite is Kaya Kallas from the EU talking about China as Trump gets ready to annex Greenland. China and Russia must be having a field day. They are the ones who benefit from division among allies. If Greenland security is at risk, we can address this inside of NATO. Tariffs risk making Europe and the United States poor and undermine our shared prosperity. We also cannot let our dispute distract us from our core task of helping end Russia's war against Ukraine. I don't think you understand. Trump is doing what Vladimir Putin is doing. But because it's Trump doing it, you have to still find a way to be like, no, this is not you. This is not you. It is him. Like, what do you mean? Trump is literally doing what Vladimir Putin is doing. And he's doing it to an area where, like, he's doing it to your western flank, okay? He's not even coming from the most eastern territory. Some of those territories you have historically relinquished, right? Control over. So he's doing it to the part that hasn't been done, that hasn't been done to before. Like, it just, Callas is the worst diplomat the EU has ever produced. This guy's still doing it for the love of the game. Respect. China Daily EU Bureau Chief Chen Weihua Cal is the worst diplomat the EU has ever produced. Of course, she's no diplomat and knows nothing about diplomacy. She just wants to help US grab Greenland. That's why she has never condemned or even mentioned the US for the threat. She considers the threat a flirtation. Tragic. She should be fired now. It's so funny, like Trump every day. Trump every day is like, I'm gonna fuck Greenland. I'm gonna fuck it with my penis. I'm going to take my hands and put them all over Greenland. I'm gonna molest it. Okay. And EU leaders are like, imagine if China were to take Greenland. Think about how scary that would be. And it's like, brother, Trump is the one who's doing it. Trump is the one who's saying it, and he's doing it, and he's in the process of doing it. And you're over here imagining like, well, what if China did this? Fuck you mean? There's one country doing this right now. This isn't you, Trump. It's exactly him. This is what he's been doing to everyone. Okay. Jason Hickel says, it's wild that the European leaders are deploying troops to Greenland to demonstrate they're serious about ensuring the security of Greenland against China and Russia, when it's blindingly obvious that the threat is emanating not from China and Russia, but from the United States. And this threat is very serious indeed. Not only to Greenland, but to all of Europe, and indeed to all of Eurasia and Canada too. Because like, if Trump can do this to a NATO country in Europe, why wouldn't he do this to Canada? He's just going to keep doing it. Like, what is stopping him? If there is no international, if there's no international consensus, if there's no like rule abiding in this process, then he can do it to anybody else. He needs to be stopped at some point. Okay. If he gets Greenland, then Canada's next. Okay. And this threat is also very serious indeed. So what's funny about it is that at least Mark Carney seemingly is a little bit more aware of this. And therefore he just straight up went to China and was like, let's do some deals. Right. Like the language coming out of Mark Carney is unironically more adult and more cognizant of the moment that is imminent than the European vassal states, because the European vassal states are running around like headless chickens, basically acting as though what is unfolding in front of them in broad daylight is actually not happening, and that there's actually a much more dangerous, grave threat, and that grave threat is China. Right? Canada would be bordered by the U.S. on all three sides if he takes Greenland. What would stop him from arguing that it's pointless for Canada to not become a part of the U.S.? Exactly. And it's so funny that like at least Canada recognizes the threat, but seemingly Europe does not recognize it at all. Is World War III is Canada going to be the Poland of World War III? Is that what's going to happen? As China tries to like build a coalition of the willing, like allied forces against America's axis of evil, they will just like piece up Canada a little bit in the same way that they did with Poland. The Molotov-Ribbentrop of 2026 is going to be over Canada as they try to drum up enough manpower and the forces to be able to combat the Amer-Israeli Nazi regime. Is that where we're at now? Because I'm going to tell you right now, guys, as an American citizen, okay? I'm an American citizen. I say over and over again, this is my home, right? And I want to fix it. But we are the Nazis in this situation. Like, we are the bad guys in this situation. Straight up. People, I think, don't want to recognize that. They find that to be, confusing, where you're like, well, this is my land. This is everything I know. This is my home. But like, we are, in this equation, we would be the fucking Nazis. It's a hard pill to swallow. I know. New Axis, U.S., Israel, and still Japan. True. I mean, it's not even that crazy to consider that the new Axis would still be Europe while Trump is taking up pieces of Europe. Like, look at the way they're replying to Donald Trump's posturing here. I'm serious, man. This is going nowhere good, okay? And the threat is very serious indeed, not only to Greenland, but to all of Europe and indeed all of Eurasia. European leaders need to grasp the fact that the U.S. is ultimately a hostile imperial power, which is fully ready to inflict extreme violence in pursuit of its geopolitical objectives. The primary moral question is, of course, the sovereignty of Greenland. But in purely geopolitical terms, having the U.S. control a huge chunk of land so close to Eurasia is dangerous to the whole continent, and European leaders should be working with their Eurasian neighbors to prevent this. It's crazy that they just have nothing. Like, they have no pushback. They have nothing. They can't say anything. They can't do anything. At least Canada, I think, recognizes the danger. Hear how Carney speaks. No drama, just business, in a matter-of-fact tone. A lot of people think the collapse of the rules-based international order will be a dramatic moment like World War III. In reality, it will be banal, bureaucratic, like transition from the old world to the new.
In the public remarks, Prime Minister Brian Platt with Bloomberg News. Yesterday, when you met with Premier Lee, one of the things you said in the public remarks was this partnership with Canada and China, this new partnership, sets us up well for the new world order. What did you mean by that? What is the new world order?
Well, it's a great question, Brian, because I think the world is still determining what that order is going to be. And let's be clear what we're talking about first and foremost, which is what is going to govern global trade? What is the role of the WTO going to be? How important are bilateral deals such as the one we're developing, plurilateral deals, if I can use that term, Trans-Pacific Partnership, potential linkages between Trans-Pacific Partnership and the EU? Where is financial regulation, payment system regulation going to fit into that? All of these aspects, I mean, use a fancy word, like the architecture, the multilateral system that has been developing these is being eroded, to use a polite term.
Here, I'll translate it for you to understand. Donald Trump has taken his sweaty orange dick and rubbed it across every fucking previous norm and deal-making process that ran the world post-World War II. A new design was put in place post-World War II around the globe. And for that relatively brief period of time, post-World War II until now, surely there was a lot of pain, there was a lot of struggle, especially for the global South and everybody else. And no one really ever gave a shit about them, obviously. But things were quiet, okay? Things were quiet in the home front for the countries that matter, the countries that are in the imperial core. Whether it be Canada, Western Europe, Australia, Five Eyes, these countries experienced prosperity and a moment of relative quiet. Now, that moment of relative quiet, given how short the lifespan is of a human being, is actually a very long period of time for us from where we're standing. It's actually a very short period of time when you look at the greater arc of history. Okay? Donald Trump is fucking up white people's money. Donald Trump is fucking with white people. You know who else fuck with white people? Adolf Hitler. Okay? That's it. Simply put, Donald Trump is fucking with white people. Okay? There comes a time when, a country decides, actually, we don't have enough colonies in the global South. It's time to fuck with white people. Okay? For Adolf Hitler, it was other Europeans. Whether they were Jewish or whether they were Slavs, he was fucking with other white people. Donald Trump's doing the same shit right now. And just like with Nazi Germany, it does take a while for a bunch of other white people to come to terms with that reality and to maybe try and stop that. Okay? Because, as is the case with Austria or Vichy France, like, it takes a while for white people to get there when they're like, okay, maybe we can deal with this. Maybe we can play ball. Maybe we can be united. After all, we're all white, It doesn't work out. It never works out. In his eyes, Slavs and Jews weren't white in general. I know, but it's still the European continent. Do you understand? That's why there's a difference between all of the colonial violence that took place in Africa, for example, the continent of Africa, or the global South in general, as opposed to what Adolf Hitler did in the way that the Western world receives it. This is the thing that I'm trying to get across here. Hitler wanted to be an artist and Trump wanted to be a reality TV star. There's parallels. I mean, that too, for sure. Are we officially in the code gay ass timeline? We are, by the way. And we don't even have cool ass mechs too. It's also closer to Fallout lore if you think about it, because in Fallout, the battle that is being waged is not even against the USSR, but against communist China. It literally is, and in Fallout, America does take over Canada because they want to secure the pipelines in an effort to fight over Alaska against China better. So it is actually closer to the Fallout timeline than anything else. NBC News, Donald Trump is privately ramping up his focus on another target in the Western Hemisphere, increasingly complaining to aides in recent weeks about Canada's vulnerability to the U.S. adversaries in the Arctic, according to 2 U.S. officials. It's just like, it's one of those crazy moments where like, you have to, by force, you have to either wake up, and if you want to maintain some semblance of sovereignty, look to different security partnerships, or make the calculated risk of just being a further vassalized by the United States, right? Like, and you know, whatever bounties that come along with that, you know, whatever benefits that come along with that, like losing your fucking social safety nets and having to say the Pledge of Allegiance and whatever kind of dumb shit that Americans do, you have to deal with.
Cut, use another term. So the question is, what gets built in that place? How much of a patchwork is it? How much is it just on a bilateral basis? Or where do like-minded countries in certain areas? So like-minded countries, just to be clear, doesn't mean you agree on everything. Aspects, for example, on digital trade or agricultural trade, climate finance as another area, to move into areas of geostrategy, geosecurity.
Appeasement doesn't work with Trump. They literally signed a trade deal with him, and it lasted a couple months before he blew it all up. His word means nothing. That, and also, if it is might is right politics, right? If we're living in might makes right, then you have to lean into other great powers around the world to make it more costly for America to do this kind of stuff. Because if you roll over, they're just going to keep going. And by they, I mean, actually, we. I am an American at the end of the day.
We'll have different coalitions that are formed. So what this partnership does is in areas, for example, of clean energy, conventional energy, agriculture, as we were just talking about, and financial services, which we've talked less about, but the evolution of the global financial system, the role of the renminbi over time, the evolution of cross-border payments. I know it all sounds very dry, except for your organization, which I think takes an interest in it. These are important elements of how the system is going to work. And look, the expectation is that rather than these being developed necessarily through the IMF, WTO, and other multilateral organizations, it is going to be coalitions that develop them not for the world, but for subsectors.
Chat saying China, Omega Lol, they ain't doing shit. Chat saying China, chat talking about nukes. Okay, listen. Let Donda is album of the decade chirp in the chat, because he's about to be vassalized entirely as a Canuck cuck. Okay, considering that they're about to be the next state in the United States of America, let him talk his shit. You know, at least in the interim, you get to have an EV fleet and maybe some high-speed rail projects potentially if you're lucky. You know. But it's coming for you, you know? Enjoy your bagged milk before we get over there and decide that that shit's illegal and it's raw bagged milk only. He isn't wrong, though. China isn't doing shit. I think, my home country is like 90% Chinese BYD. So here's the thing, okay? Also, my home country. Bitch, I know your ass is in Canada. What the fuck do you mean? Am I wrong? Isn't he? Aren't you literally in Canada right now? Donda is album of the decade. Am I wrong? Anyway. Genuine takeover and occupation of Canada would require genocide and or mass internment that Americans have never attempted. Do you believe Americans could actually stomach that next door in a majority white country with the same language as shared online platforms? I think the Canadian takeover would probably be more akin to like a Vichy France style structure and then resistance networks that form in the aftermath. Like, you know, it wouldn't be like straightforward war and it would not be like a straight up hot war or like a serious battle or something like that. It would just be, there would be just an insurgency movement, an ongoing insurgency movement alongside like the Canadian government also trying to stamp it out themselves in an effort to maintain stability. An important piece on what you're talking about. Beijing pours cash into Belt and Road financing and global resource grab. What? I mean, this has been going on. The Albertan HVAC business owner's fifth column. Are we seriously talking about this? I mean, these are very weird times, man. I don't know. Yes, you would definitely have the Quebecois partisans as well. You would absolutely have like a Quebecois separatist movement. Because if there's one thing that the Francophones don't want, like if there's one thing that they would fight against, absolutely, it would be American dominance, because it's even worse than the Anglophone Canadian dominance, you know? You will absolutely, you would have the Alberta separatist movement that would, or the Alberta Unionists. The Alberta Unionists would be the forefront of demanding that America take over Canada. They would try to present it as like seceding from the previous union under the banner of the British Empire. They would try to make it seem like it's a real revolutionary war, but this time against the Queen or something. Okay? And the Quebecois would be fighting aggressively against any sort of American takeover. Or not the Queen, sorry, King. You just play for extra time, buy time, keep Atlantis in the U.S. close, and hope Trump will find something else to obsess over while you prepare. You don't decide to go, fuck it, we leave the fence. Yeah, no, that's the calculation that's happening currently. At least Mark Carney is smart enough to try and hedge his bets, though, by leaning into China a little bit. But that's what's going on here. They are hoping that, like, the problem takes care of itself or Donald Trump stops paying attention. You know?
National security reasons, citing activity from China and Russia. But many experts and lawmakers say there's no immediate threat, pointing out the U.S. already has the ability to increase their military presence on the island through a long-standing treaty. Janae?
All right, Selena, thank you for your reporting on that.
So I think Trump doesn't know about Greenlandic people. We don't really value cash and Kardashian lips and fake boobs and stuff like that very highly. Actually, you cannot even own land in Greenland. You can get an allotment for your house and then you own the house on top of the land. But Greenlanders don't believe.
Don't tell. No, he's gonna say it's communist. We gotta liberate Greenland from the treacherous communism. Anti-Piker post popping off. What is this? Oh God. That has 41,000 likes. Getting ready to make history. Oh my God. Why the fuck does this have 41,000 likes? Christian, BetterHelp professional therapy with a licensed therapist. 7.5K bookmarks. How do you What does that even mean, man? That is crazy. You have nice meaty thighs. I know. I do. I have big ass legs. I don't think you understand the level of hatred a lot of Canadians have for America right now. I think we will die in the streets before giving in. Sure, we don't have AR-15s, but we got a lot of long rifles. Chatter, it's not about what you think. It's about what the government thinks is the best path forward for, like, you know, least impact, most stability. That's why I'm speculating that there would be an insurgency, but while there is an insurgency, I suspect that the government would try to do like a Vichy France style situation.
In the land is for one person, is for everyone, and so is the seas, like the riches that we have there. So it's a big miscalculation that he thinks that Greenlanders would be incited by cash or something like that. We're not. And even if you were to say like $100,000 per person or something like that, we wouldn't give up free healthcare. We wouldn't give up free education. We wouldn't give up being a part of Europe. We wouldn't give up on our sovereignty eventually. And we're a very sovereign people within the Kingdom of Denmark. We're autonomous right now. We do not want to be rich like the Americans are. See how greedy they are. They're even trying to shoot their friends or invade their friends just for greed. And we know that there's minerals and oils possibly in our underground, and that's worth so much more even than that. But even if we didn't have that, we would still not be bought. So everyone here knows about the Inuit in Alaska and all of the native tribes, Indians, American Indians who are there. Their land was taken from them, and they haven't been treated that well in America. And we know that Trump is very much surrounding himself, at least with the white power people. And we are not white, as you can see. We are of color.
Bro, she's hitting all the worst notes. I swear to God. She mentioned that they have a communism in Greenland, okay, over land ownership rights. And she said they're not white. Is so, like, she's not wrong. And I totally understand what she's saying. But, like, Trump hears this, and he's going to be like, oh, bet. Like, we got to take it over. We got to take it over. What do you mean there's indigenous people there? What, there's Indians there? Snow Indians will take it over. Trust me. Well, bet. That's what we did. That's what America does. Like, he's going to come in like that. And they're communist. We got to take them over. I saw they have face tattoos. Very scary stuff.
And so we know our rights probably would be taken away. And we also know that we're very good as we are together with Denmark. As mentioned before, we have free healthcare, we have free study. Whatever you want to study, you can do that for free. And actually, government will give you money to study. So while you're studying, you're getting a grant from your government. So all of that we wouldn't trade for, like the welfare state. We wouldn't trade for anything in America. But also, you have to remember.
I don't understand. Just go lay on the fucking. I put the rugs down for you. I put the rugs down for you. Lay on the rug. Why must you lay right behind me? Why must you lay right underneath the fucking wheels of my chair? Huh? Why are you looking at me like that? Come here. Guy. Come here. Lady. Go on the rug. Okay, whatever. Because she loves you, dumbass? Yeah, but she also loves me potentially rolling over her tail. Dogs love laying below the wheels of chairs for some reason. She just doesn't understand. I'm a regular Asman viewer, and I'm here for the first time to see myself with all the dramas about not from the U.S., by the way. I mean, there is not really any drama. You either think America gets to take all these fucking countries and dominate them, or you don't. I happen to be on the side of America doesn't get to do that, and it's disgusting. I am entirely in favor of the Kingdom of Denmark in their anti-imperialist endeavors. Okay, I am on the side of the kingdom. I am on the side of the Greenlanders. I wish them well. They must get nukes immediately, I think. Give Greenland nukes.
Remember, a lot of Greenlanders have family, like their mother or father or grandmother or grandfather who's Danish. We do have a 400 years history together or more in terms of being interconnected in that way. So, and we're also seeing a lot of protests in America right now that is unsettling with the ICE agents who are sort of going after a lot of people. And
no, Greenland isn't up for grabs.
Like
I agree.
He's going a lot after brown people. And we are considered brown people, as you can see. So, yeah, we would rather stay with Denmark. Thank you. America has had up to 17 bases here, and they have closed them all down except for one, the Bidufik Space Base. And America could amp up the base presence, their military presence, and even their military capabilities here all they wanted to. So that is not the argument. And of course, everyone in Greenland knows this. We may not be many, but we read, we're educated, and we know about the news of the world, right? Especially regarding our own country. So we know about the treaties that we have with America. This is very much akin to when you have a dog sledge team, when he's using that analogy, and one of the dogs all of a sudden turns around and bites you. You have to take it out of the kennel. You have to take it outside and shoot it. Of course, we're not going to shoot Americans. We're peaceful people, but you cannot trust that dog anymore forever. America has 10,000 soldiers who are for combat in Arctic society. Finland alone has 35,000. We also could impose if we wanted to escalate stuff, we could also impose like dropping all American Treasury bonds, right? That would hurt. We also have, when you look at France and Canada and all of the allies that are coming to our rush right now, a very big arsenal actually of soldiers.
Yeah, all this stuff is crazy. It's not happening. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Like, it's just not. That seems like the most insane thing, right? Like, I feel like if it gets to that, it's over. Like, America is just going into hot war and killing a bunch of people, right? The reason why I say or have been saying since Liberation Day that Europe needs to recognize what fucking time it is because as an American citizen who is very familiar with Donald Trump, I know where we were eventually moving towards, okay? I don't think Europe understands what time it is. You can't do this without another great power on your side. Because with another great world power on your side, you could at least increase the pressure that America is experiencing to make it impossible, to make them, to force their hand into not making a dangerous move that destroys the stability that the Western world has taken advantage of for like the last, almost 100 years. It didn't even take 100 years, honestly, for all of it to fucking collapse. If you immigrate to Greenland right now, they will make you a citizen automatically. Trump is a waste youth. He's in the White House and left Tiffany in the hood. Sick to my stomach, fam. Why Donnie so cheesed that Denmark won't give up the greenies? Are you dumb? Guan easy. Uncle Xi gonna take care of Big Maple baby food. He's a real Gerbert, fam. China is deezed with the EVs, and Canada gonna fend that. Brought to you from the Multicultural Toronto English Wikipedia. Wallahi, fam. Xi's about to bust out the blunderbuss. That chat is a crody. Don't listen. No shot, fam. Sick to my stomach. I'll gurk use.
And of weapons, especially. America had to borrow Denmark's warship for Arctic seas. So, it's not a given that America would win here. We fought alongside America in a lot of other wars around the world because we wanted to adhere to the treaties that
Brother, someone said you're gonna be banned from Toronto. I might be banned from Canada because I offended Israel. So I might be banned from Canada altogether, not just Toronto. The waysuits out there are really riding hard for Israel, fam. They're calling your mans a Gerbert.
We had gone through, but they have seen that some of the street fighting in Syria, for example, has been very, very hard on Western soldiers, right? I imagine it would probably be the same in Greenland. It would be like something else. So I wouldn't laugh it off, but of course nobody wants war and nobody wants to be invaded. Of course there are bad chapters with Denmark and Greenland because we have a 400-year history. But actually I also saw a YouTube video that kind of emerged recently that said American soldiers were very bad to some of our people here too in Assuk, which is a small settlement in here. Some of the elders that remember them also said, well, those guys were really not that good. So it really doesn't matter what happened between Denmark and Greenland. We'll figure that out. Denmark and Greenland is fine as we are. We will figure it out. If we want to be independent, Greenlanders should be able to decide that, not with pressure from a superpower somewhere. And we are well aware that if we became independent tomorrow, he would just invade us because he would have no problems with NATO, Europe, everything else. So I think he's banking sort of in a very insulting way that Greenlanders are like
Bro, by the way, I just need you to understand, this is the average Greenlander's perspective here. Like, think about how well-read she is. Think about how intelligent she is. Like, this is what America wants to take away from them. She's been going on for 5 minutes and 42 seconds. Okay? And not a moment has been wasted. Now imagine the average American right-winger, and whether or not they could actually tie together complex geopolitical pressures and pull from historical acts of violence that America's engaged in around the globe, explain the dynamics between the previous colonial rulership and the complexities there, while also, she's a politician, to be fair. Brother, our politicians are not capable of talking like this. What do you mean? Like, think about Lauren Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Josh Hawley, Donald Trump. Can you imagine Donald Trump doing this? Mitch McConnell, Chuck Schumer, Joe Biden, Mark Wayne Mullen, Nancy Pelosi, Randy Fine. And I suspect this is her third language that she's speaking in as well. Yeah, let's look at America. Let's look at how Americans operate. Congressman Greg Steube, this is ridiculous. Now, you might not understand what he's pointing to, but what he's pointing to is chemtrails. What he suspects is chemtrails, okay? That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying is ridiculous. This man is on the Congressional Intelligence Committee, man, representing Florida's 17th district. That's the average fucking American congressperson and their level of intellect. Do you understand? Do you understand? Perhaps that's the reason why Greenlanders understandably don't want to be dominated by a nation state that votes for guys like this to rule over them. Don't you think this indicates American demise? Don't you think this indicates where we're at as a society, that these are the people that we are electing to represent us? Who the fuck would want to be ruled by the dumbest animals of all time?
stupid, uneducated people who doesn't follow the news around the world, and we're not. It's the exact opposite. We're going to be here hundreds of years after Donald Trump. Even if he invaded us, I think we would just wait him out like bad weather. Everyone here knows that the weather decides. If we get a storm, we may have to hunker down for a day or two, and we will hunker down for a year or two, or even 10 years or 20 years, and then we will go back to Denmark as soon as Trump and his likes were gone. Everyone wants a peaceful solution. Donald Trump is the only one who seems to want to fight, and I don't even think the American military would want to fight. It just seems crazy and unhinged. It seems like he's going to pay off some of his wealthy donors so he can run for president a third time, to be honest. That's what most Greenlanders are thinking. We don't know, but that's what we're thinking. They already did a poll last year. 6% only was pro-America. And I have seen a lot of videos on social media lately where they are saying, I'm sorry, I was wrong about MAGA, I was wrong about America. So I would think it would be even less percent now. So only 6% a year ago, and I think probably even fewer now. 85% overwhelmingly said no last year. As I said, I think the percentage is higher now. So no. Decisively no. Nobody wants NATO to be pitted against each other. Nobody. I mean, nobody, except maybe Donald Trump, and nobody knows why. We're thinking, is he too good friends with Putin, or what is happening here? Nobody wants Greenland to be a battleground. But we have seen a lot of nations kind of step up, and as I mentioned, they're trying to do the last friendly gesture towards America, as well as displaying we do actually have military capabilities. We still want to be friends. But as you saw today, the Canadian Prime Minister, he went to China to try and make new relations. So if Donald Trump wants a new world order, okay, then that's what he's going to get. 74% of Americans, ordinary Americans, do not want to invade Greenland. And I think...
Yeah, that's like the worst part about it, too, is that just like nobody wants this except for like genuinely a handful of pedophilic elite billionaires. And Donald Trump, who's willing to take it there for them. Like, Americans don't want this. Greenlanders don't want this. The European vassal states don't want this. No one wants it. And all it takes is like 4 to 5 people in Trump's orbit to be like, we should take it. And Trump is like, yeah, let's do it. Sounds great to me. That's it. That's it. That's where we're at now. That's where we're at. You got like 8 pedophiles in Trump's corner being like, this is great. This is great. Mr. President, we should do this. It's going to be wonderful for you. It's going to be wonderful for me and like 4 of our other friends. We should do this. And Trump is like, all right, bet. Love it. Let's fuck up the entire planet. My super mega aunt and uncle wants this, and it makes me sick to my stomach, and they find any reason to defend Annoying Orange. Yeah, I'm not talking about the fucking dumb hogs, like, you know, no disrespect, except all disrespect to your fucking MAGA parents, chatters. But like, they're stupid. What do you want? You know that already. You deal with them on a daily fucking basis. They have become mentally deficient husks at this point. They have eroded what remains of their fucking collective IQ. It's all one IQ at this point. They just have nothing. They're just responding to stimuli that Trump is putting out there. So same IQ as yourself. Hell yeah, Mick Slurry. Fucking got him. How do people listen to this R word, lol? I don't know. Maybe when you realize that 74% of the country agrees with me and also like 96% of Greenland agrees with me, perhaps you have to realize that this is a phenomenally unpopular move. A phenomenally unpopular move that is only championed by people such as yourself who have no capacity to think independently and is simply responding to stimuli. Just shit that Trump puts out there. You go, please, Mr. President, give me the manure. I will eat it. I will deep throat the boot for you, sir. And it's ironic because it's not even beneficial for you in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, those stats are accurate, Law. Do you have any stats? You don't. Do you have any stats that back your side? No, you don't. because you don't rely on anything. You have no education. You're stupid. And actually, you kind of deep down inside recognize that you're a stupid person. Okay? No, I'm not the one throwing stats out. I am the one throwing stats out. So your counterpoint should actually be, here's why your statistics are wrong. 74% of Americans actually do want to invade Greenland, and then share what statistics you have. But you won't, because once again, you're a fucking moron. And you deep down inside know that you're a fucking moron and the world scares you. So you lean into the vicious nature of this administration to punish those who actually did get an education, because you want to dominate. You want to be in a world led by stupids. It gives you a sense of comfort. Okay? That's it. It's a vengeance quest for you. Instead of digging deep and trying to educate yourself, trying to become a better person, you've completely given up on all of that and decided the best pathway forward is to just be a stupid guy who is vicious to everyone around him. I'm sorry for not, sheltering your feelings here. I'm not going to hold your feelings into account in this commentary. But, wake the fuck up. You're not a very intelligent person. You probably recognize that a little bit, and it scares you, and it makes you angry. And then you get angry and you lash out like a baby. Sometimes you got to be honest. Here, I'll ask you an easy one. Haha, I'm not sensitive. It's all good. Okay. What benefits do you, as a regular American citizen, get from America's occupation of Greenland? Like, let's cast aside the immorality of denying 55,000 indigenous people their sovereignty for a brief moment, because I'm talking to an Amerifat, and Amerifats don't have the capacity to empathize with others, let alone even themselves, and people with the exact same class position as them. So let's talk about the benefits of America. I'm Australian. I'm trying to get down to your level real quick mentally. Hold on. A couple more slams will do it. Hasanabi, in Asmongold's chat, Hasanabi, go back to your country. Bro, how come you ban other people but not this loser at Hasanabi? Even citizens can detain citizens. You just want to make sure you have the grounds to do it or you'll be in trouble. His life was 100% in danger. What benefit do you get? He's not even EU LARPing as an American right-winger. He's an Australian. Many such cases. Guys, the reason why we do this, for the record, is because a lot of people don't believe me when I say that Asmongold's entire community is just like non-Americans LARPing like they're American MAGA, lashing out at American citizens and even Europeans that have a conscience and are frustrated by American domination around the globe. These people have no identity whatsoever. It blows my mind. I spend a good deal of time yelling at MAGA cucks in this country, using terminology that they understand, using a value system that they understand, trying to explain to them that like American domination around the globe is not actually lining up their pockets with any of the super profits that we're extracting. It's only for the pedophilic elite. But when I see someone who's not even an American LARPing as though they are an American right-winger, it bricks me. It one-shots me because you are on the receiving end of that domination, okay? You are not benefiting it at all. You are not even benefiting from like the feeling of American prosperity. At least the dumb fuck American right-wingers here, the Amerifats, right? They at least feel like America is force projecting and that feels good. It feels like we're all powerful. We're all in this together. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, at least, you know, other countries are going to find out why we don't have health care. It's like, well, you're a fucking idiot, but at least you're like, you're my idiot. You know what I mean? You're not even in the club. You're literally outside of the fucking club. How are you this stupid? How have you destroyed your own, how have you destroyed your own sense of sovereignty, nationhood, and you have so willingly decided to deep throat the American boot? I don't understand it, man. It doesn't make any sense. Like, what could you be getting? You don't have to be an American to laugh at how dumb you sound. The fact that you think I need to be and your reaction to that just makes it even more hilarious. I disagree. Asman gave me a random Chinese man an insight into America's politics. Just because a lot of his viewers are MAGA doesn't mean everyone is MAGA. Can't blame one group of people based on one dumb person, Hasan. This motherfucker is a spy, okay? Straight up. This motherfucker's like, no, it's awesome. We love Trump here in China. He is literally destroying the global order and the Chinese century of prosperity is upon us. And I love his insights. Yeah, of course. If I was a Chinese man living in China, I would also love Asmongold's insights as well. Because the Republican Party as it stands is doing more damage to America in general than Osama bin Laden ever could have even fathomed. Okay? Yeah. Anyway, getting back to this guy, it does not make sense. If you're an Australian right-winger, you're supposed to care about Australia. And if America is destroying Australian sovereignty, okay? What is this? Oh, he's from Hong Kong, the Chinese man. If a Democrat becomes next president, me as a person from Hong Kong would like the president to have an open border policy so I can move to the U.S. Who's this guy? I'm going to go into his stream and do what that guy did to you. All my friends who are left-leaning are not from America. Asman, can I do the same and then you'll pull me up? I understand your point of view. I'm here because I want to know more. No biases, man. Chatter doesn't understand that being from Hong Kong is not going to save him in the eyes of the average American. They will dome you. They will assume you're a Chinese spy. They will assume that you're a CCP spy, okay? We got Tom Cotton. Roll the clip. Tom Cotton. Are you Chinese? What kind of Chinese are you? Senator, I'm from Singapore. Senator, I served in the Singaporean army. Yeah, but what kind of Chinese is that? How many times have you maintained a loyalty pledge to China and the CCP? Anyway.
Probably amongst those 74%, most of the military capability is probably in there because they know they would be attacking a NATO ally. They know they would be going into...
Bro said, I'll conceal myself. The fuck? What are you going to do? Whiteface? Like, what do you mean conceal yourself?
A European country. And since World War II, you know, the Western Hemisphere has kind of banded together. So it's very weird that he's trying to do that. Some Europeans are hoping that maybe he's just trying to get them to really amp up their military quick. I don't think so. I think he wants Greenland, but we'll see.
Colonization is not...
This is so funny. Hong Kong Chinese have a distinct English accent, this guy says. Yeah, bro. You think Americans make that distinction? Are you fucking stupid? please be for real for a moment. You think Americans are going to be like, oh, this is a Cantonese accent, obviously very different from a Sichuan accent. The type of British English that you learn in Hong Kong is going to be very different. Brother, the first victim of a Islamophobic hate crime after 9/11 was an Indian guy who is Sikh, okay? Americans are indiscriminate in their discrimination. Please, you are being so stupid. American racism is incredibly lazy, okay? Are you white? What kind of white are you? If you're not white, you're not a part of us, unless you're literally Nicolas Fuentes, in which case you can be a gay Mexican guy and be the leader of the neo-Nazi movement in the country currently. Okay? It's so funny that these guys think like, oh no, there's these guys will make a distinction. They will understand that we were occupants of a colonial holdover in Hong Kong, and therefore they will understand that we are actually very Western focused. It's like, no, they don't give a fuck. They don't care, man. Jesus Christ. Non-white people are getting kidnapped and speaking perfect English, man. I know. Oh. I can't get over that one Australian guy, though, that was like, I'm Australian. I'm just laughing at how stupid you Americans are. You Americans who are yelling at America dominating the globe. You're so dumb. Please come dominate me. Or nor, I would like my masters to be American, please. Cock down under. I fucking love America. Yes.
Okay.
The cold shoulder for Donald.
Aussie Frog here went to a party this weekend. Many middle-aged white men passionately detailed how taking Maduro and now Greenland needed to happen and how glorious our big, beautiful boy is. Dude, what the fuck is going on? Kaya. Stop laying down right next to me. Bro. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. I guess the closest I can arrive at like an equivalence is like me saying jokingly, President Xi, send the Dongfeng missiles, please, you know? But like, I'm in America, so it's even then it's still different, right? Like if China was like, oh, we're gonna turn Australia into a vassal state, and I was like, hell yeah, dude. Like, I guess it's kind of like that. Is that what it is? But like, the difference there is when you become a vassal for China, you get high-speed rail. When you become a vassal for America, you lose your health care. Like, you know what I mean? So even then, it makes no sense. It's not up to me in general, but it still doesn't make sense to me. It's extra weird. It's extra weird when you think about it because it's like, Americans don't want this. Okay? Americans don't even want this. Nobody in America is like, oh, yeah, I'm fucking salivating at the prospect of taking over Greenland. Yeah, U.S. vassals, get ready to lose your health care, get ready to lose your education, and get ready to be dominated by the dumbest people on the fucking planet.
Donald Trump. From the streets of the Danish capital, they sent a message. Hands off Greenland.
This is important for the whole world. There are many small countries. None of them are for sale.
We're protesting against the orange dictator in the U.S. who is trying to bully his way to undermine the sovereignty of the Greenlandic people and take away their right to decide who they want to be part of.
The US president had already threatened to impose tariffs on countries standing in his way.
I may do that for Greenland, too. I may put a tariff on countries if they don't go along with Greenland, because we need Greenland for national security, so I may do that.
Denmark has increased its military presence in Greenland. Its European partners, including France, Germany and the UK, sent a symbolic number of troops too. But America's commander-in-chief says they are playing a dangerous game. Posting on Truth Social, Donald Trump said world peace is at stake. China and Russia want Greenland, and there is not a thing that Denmark can do about it. They currently have 2 dog sleds as protection, one added recently. Threatening a tariff of 10%, rising to 25%, he added, this tariff will be due and payable until such time as a deal is reached for the complete and total purchase of Greenland. A congressional delegation of Democrats and Republicans visiting Denmark had just expressed concern about threats.
The people of Denmark are very anxious, are quite concerned, and the people of Greenland even more so, and that this current tone and tempo of statements about acquisition is not constructive.
The Prime Minister has sought to keep the US President on side, famously flattering him with an invitation from the King.
This is unprecedented, and I think that just symbolises the strength of the relationship between us.
But that relationship is under real pressure. Sir Keir Starmer describing the threat of tariffs on allies as completely wrong. From red carpet to red lines, the honeymoon appears to be over, and questions remain about Donald Trump's real motivation.
To be honest, the security argument makes no sense. Donald Trump says that he needs ownership of Greenland in order to protect Greenland. But the fact of the matter is that the only reason that it's a problem is because he doesn't want to protect Greenland unless he owns it.
He's standing firm on the central pillar of his presidency, but tariffs are testing age-old alliances. For Greenlanders, this is a David versus Goliath battle, and Donald Trump is forcing Europe to take a side.
Bro, if they cut off Ozempic, we're going to legalize piracy again? Yeah, America was... Starmer is a fraud. You were correct back in the Croatia trip. Yeah, remember when the fucking Euroids were yelling at me about Starmer, talking about what fresh change of pace Starmer's victory represents? And I told them straight up, I was like, no, it doesn't. And the next time it's going to be much worse if you don't get your shit in order. Yeah, Kid Starver. He is the biggest cuck. Like, it's crazy. He's a bigger cuck than Macron even. No, someone was saying that. Yes, there were people who were like, let us have a moment of happiness. Like, the Tories are gone. And I was like, listen, I see Starmer and I don't like what I see. I don't like what I see one bit. In Europe, it almost feels like they're competitively dick sucking. Like they're literally fighting amongst themselves to see who gets to suck Trump first. USA is being booed by everyone. We are the baddies. This is old, isn't it? This is an old video. This is a new video, though. Leave Greenland alone. Heckler shouts during U.S. anthem at London NBA game. First time here from Germany. It's insane that we have Donald Trump supporters in our own country. The numbers are growing. Free Palestine. Dude. Someone's got to find, maybe it's Little Bear or someone else. Someone has to find my warning to the European liberals from like, at this point, almost like 7 years ago, or maybe 6 years ago, where I was like telling the European liberals that like American brain rot is going to come to your backyard. It's already there and it's only going to grow from here. and your version of fascism is going to represent our fucking stupid brain rot. Like, this was when the AFD was like first coming on the scene, or like gaining a lot of momentum. And nobody heeded my warning. I remember hearing that warning so long ago, such a spot on prediction. I was like, Europeans, you're laughing at us right now, but like, you're looking into your future. This is a peek at what your future is going to look like. I think it was around 2020, 6 years ago. Like, I'll be honest, like, none of this actually, what is this, 2024 clip about Kid Starver?
Two quick questions, really. Firstly, would you campaign alongside reform for proportional representation?
Pre-watch Piker, you already called it. They're already doing it. Oh, yeah, I'm sure. You'll see. Watch this space. In the upcoming days, everyone is going to talk about how much better Keir Starmer is than Jeremy Corbyn, and that centrism won in the UK. And it's the solution. It's the antidote to far-right politics of the Tories. Okay?
What's happened? I think it was you.
Dude, I told my friends in 2020 after Russia invaded Ukraine that putting all of our cards in America's support is foolishness and that America has the potential to be as bad or worse than Russia, and they just laughed at me and called me an idiot because nothing is as bad as Russia. Yeah, for Europeans, like, at least in modern, in the thing is, with Europeans, like, for like the last couple of decades during the Cold War and onwards, like, that attitude was always anti-USSR, anti-communism, and like how fearful they are of incursion from Russia. So when Russia turned around and invaded Ukraine, that actually made those fears, it caused them to realize those fears, basically, right? So it made them even more insane about like Russian incursion. Now you got America taking advantage of that fear and their lack of interest in looking elsewhere for sovereignty, looking elsewhere to develop like, extensive relationships that will allow them to leverage their ongoing relationship with the United States of America. Instead of doing that, now they're getting Russian-style incursions from their western flank. And it's, I don't know. I don't know what it will take for Europeans to realize, like, this is fucked. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, we deserve to be spitted on, okay? We are disgusting. Like, we are such rapacious little monstrous freaks, okay? Everywhere we go, we are bringing about death and destruction for no fucking reason other than to benefit a tiny minority, a hand-selected, hand-picked a couple pedophilic billionaires, okay? Disastrous. Fucking disastrous. And before people say, oh, well, where is your sense of pride in your nation or whatever, one must remember when Nazi Germany was rising into power, okay, when it was building momentum, when the fascists were coming to take over the German the German administration, there were plenty of people who were fighting back against that, okay? I can't be proud of something when there's nothing to be proud of. It's ridiculous. UK stands firm on non-negotiable position over Greenland. Let's see.
Future of
Let's see what
Greenland.
Kid Starmer's saying. He's monitoring the situation, monitoring it closely, trying to figure out what he can say that doesn't offend the sensibilities of Big Daddy Trump.
threats tearing apart the so-called special relationship and the whole transatlantic alliance. For now, Sir Keir Starmer and his European allies are standing firm against Donald Trump's threats to slap further tariffs on their goods unless he's able to buy the Danish territory.
Our position on Greenland is non-negotiable. We've made that very clear. This decision on tariffs is completely wrong. The future of Greenland is for the people of Greenland and the people of the Kingdom of Denmark to determine, and for them alone.
It's a position supported by the government's usual opponents.
The message is loud and clear. NATO is stronger when we stand together and speak with one voice against our adversaries in the world. And the point being about tariffs, we do not support tariffs, and we must not have further tariffs being applied to the United Kingdom.
It's reported the EU could retaliate with £80 billion worth of tariffs, but they'd much rather do a deal. All 8 affected countries have issued a joint statement to insist they stand united, reiterating their solidarity with Denmark and Greenland and arguing that tariff threats risk a dangerous downward spiral.
Guys, 2 more days until Donald Trump's first year is done. We're not even done with Donald Trump's first year in his second term. I need you to be so for real. How the fuck do we get through 3 more of these, okay? Or perhaps even longer than that. Who knows? Who knows where things might go?
But the White House seems in no mood to negotiate.
Better now, peace through strength, make it part of the United States, and there will not be a conflict because the United States right now, we are the hottest country in the world. We are the strongest.
Dude, you know what's funny about this is like, this is
country in
exactly the same mentality that America has had around the globe. Whether it be Iran, whether it be Venezuela, whether it be anywhere else that we have a grand design over, like whether it be any country that is not directly under our security umbrella. Okay? You sound like such a fucking moron to say this in a room you didn't pay for. Such fucking cope. Like, we do this all the time. We say, listen, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. We set up the environment through sanctions to erode a country's economic stability. And then when that instability kicks in, and then there's further repression from the state that we are trying to destroy, we turn around and say, look, you got 2 options. You got the easy way. Give us what we want, your natural resources, or in the case of Greenland, just the entire state, right? Or we will bomb you. We will bomb you into submission. That's just how it is. The only difference here with Greenland and the rest of the countries that we've done this to is that it's a part of Europe. It's functionally a part of Europe. So because it's part of the European continent, all of a sudden, the stakes are different, which is why all of the European allies are going, wait a minute, hold on. You're treating us like we're brown people. What the fuck is this? But they still can't do anything about it. And in America that can do this to Greenland, will do this to Canada too. And yes, this is what I was referencing earlier. 75% of Americans oppose U.S. attempting to take control of Greenland, CNN poll finds. Where's that dumb fuck chatter now? Like, oh, where'd you get these numbers from? That was the Australian chatter that we've learned wasn't even American. He was just LARPing as an Americuck. Like, you got to ask, who is this for, man? Just like four pedophilic billionaires. That's who it's for. Too bad Tony DeCoppel thinks this is a good idea. Oh my God, don't even get me fucking started on this bullshit. A lesson in bipartisanship. Democratic Senator John Fetterman and Republican Senator Dave McCormick tell Tony DeCoppel they're looking for ways to work together for the people of Pennsylvania and to set a good example. They discussed President Trump's plans for Greenland healthcare and the growing U.S. steel industry. Let's take a look. I love bipartisanship.
From Pittsburgh with the 2 U.S. senators from Pennsylvania.
CBS News, Israel's favorite news station.
John Fetterman, a Democrat, and Dave McCormick, a Republican.
There used to be 9 states that had a split delegation.
But we trust each other.
It's been and we already agree.
Just I want to see just the Greenland part. I don't care about all this other shit. Also, yeah, of course it's bipartisanship. It's fucking uniparty. Permaban if you wanted. The pre-watch link you asked for. I'm spamming. It's not a
Bro, the
poop
amount of times I've told you European fucks keep laughing from over there at America. You're just basically laughing at your own future.
This is not. This is a much later clip. The OG clip is even older than that.
I hate to fucking be the bearer of bad news, but that is now, okay? It's here. That fucking corporate brain rot, that hyper-capitalist brain rot that slowly but surely has eroded your own constitutions, your own checks and balances, the pervasive influence of lobbying that I told you was coming to your fucking countries. It's been happening for the past 10 to 20 years. And now you're finally starting to see the worst aspects of it. And get ready, because the other side of it, it's already existed. It's already been in existence in places like Sweden and whatnot, where like any kind of fucking immigration is seen as like the main reason for why society's awful, any kind of like awful feeling that you have due to existing under this like these crippling conditions are directly related back to immigration, directly related back to refugees, directly related back to Islam. When you know. It has nothing to do with that at fucking all. So there's that as well. And now you have the police that are supposed to be controlling the population, that are there to protect and control, protect and serve the interests of capital, take carte blanche approaches to you know, wanton violence that is unchecked, unrestricted. And it's going to get fucking worse.
You're wrong, though. Europe is not going MAGA and will never be doing so. I don't think it's about democracy, chatter. What democratic process is being followed when we consider taking colonial rulership over Greenland? Overwhelming majority of Americans don't want it. Overwhelming majority of Europeans don't want it. It's not about democracy. You are not understanding what I'm saying. European sovereignty doesn't exist. Okay, European sovereignty is in all but name only, and now we're destroying the fake notion that Europe had any sovereignty to begin with. You have a choice to make. Either you maintain your sovereignty and you push back and you make it impossible for America to just warmonger like this, okay? Or you just eat it. This kind of arrogance is exactly how you arrived at the conditions you arrived at without even realizing. The notion that you have any sort of sovereignty at all. You have no sovereignty unless you push for it, unless you defend it, okay? Where is this? When does this start? At what timestamp does this start? Here, this is the part about Greenland.
A new conversation. Truman and other in the past offered to buy it there. And now I also remind people it's actually closer to us geographically, North America, to Denmark and Europe, to technically that too. So it's not an absurd idea. Not at all. But obviously not
at all, Tony. Thanks, Tony.
Up, you know, with the military and take over.
My eldest is
20,000 officers and says it will take a zero tolerance.
I mean, it'll never not be wild to me to see an entire nation in a state of disarray and unrest with mass mobilization happening in public.
Do you think
over one singular teenager being shot at a traffic stop? And of course, I'm not trying to belittle or minimize the violence that you are seeing, right? But I'm simply an American. So when I see a 17-year-old get shot at a traffic stop, I think, well, that's a Tuesday. Our police force kills 1,000 civilians a year.
Following the same logic, Alaska should go to Canada, not the U.S.? Yeah, okay. There is no logic here. The only logic is might makes right. We want it, so we're going to take it. This is the reason why initially, like colonial extraction in Africa was called the raping of Africa, because that's what it is.
Do you think military force is really an option from the Trump administration?
No. I mean, no. I think that's wrong. No one, no, that's not an option. And you know, for me though, it's also undeniable that one, this is not a brand new conversation. Truman and other in the past offered to buy it there. And now I also remind people it's actually closer to us geographically, North America, to Denmark and Europe, to technically that too. So it's not an absurd idea.
Not at all. Do you think military force is really an option from the Trump administration?
No.
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. Greenland, get ready. This is going to be one of your, this is going to be exactly the type of fucking guy who rules over you, okay? Love that. Love to see it. Bernie says, if Trump seizes Greenland from Denmark, does that mean all Americans will be entitled to free healthcare with no deductibles, a free college education, 52 weeks of paid parental leave, 5 weeks of paid vacation? Because that's what everyone in Denmark and Greenland gets. No, they won't be. We'll just take that away from them. Also, not the best message here. Obviously, he's trying to make a sarcastic quip here, but like, what if the answer is yes? Then is it appropriate to take over Greenland? I think not, but I don't think he was trying to say that anyway. He was just trying to highlight what other reasonable countries have in terms of their social safety nets. Be nice. He was around when sarcasm was invented. Yeah. Yeah. Fetterman says not an absurd idea to try to acquit. How do you fucking, is this? I didn't even know. This is a big word. How do you say this word? It's not a word, is it? Oh, he meant acquire. Oh my God. I'm done. I shouldn't have slammed my head on the desk. To understand the plight of that Australian MAGA dick rider. It's already happening. Maybe I'll have a happier life now. Maybe I'll exist as a happier individual. If I start talking about like how good it is to take over Greenland and fuck yeah, Canada's next, just know that slowly but surely the brain damage is actually setting in. Yeah, I John Fetterman myself live on camera. MAGA ARG incoming. No questions with DeKoppel about the illegality of trying to take it by force or the European alliance and backlash to the U.S. This is what state TV looks like. Drive really fast into oncoming traffic, terrifying everyone in the car. Yes.
Yeah. You live in the neighborhood? Yep, this is my block. This is my area. I don't go into other people's neighborhoods and try and intimidate them. I protect my people.
Are you giving out your name?
No, I'm okay with that. Our neighborhood showing up.
Trading is open. Stock future sliding. Gold hitting new record high. You know what it was? Donald Trump was always a fucking gold standard truther, okay? He is going to do it by force as confidence erodes in the dollar, because the dollar is pegged to American stability. And the only thing that America represents now around the globe is instability. Donald Trump is molesting the money so hard that people are like, maybe we should go back to the gold standard. Guys, I'm not feeling too good. I'm not feeling too good about this whole like 80% of all global, like 80% of all trade is conducted on the SWIFT system that is directly controlled by a country that is run by an unstable madman who seemingly wants to put his dick all up in the money supply. We got de-dollarization in 2026. When Donald Trump was talking about avoiding BRICS nations trying to find an alternative mechanism of trade, what he actually ended up doing was freak all of the allies into purchasing gold. Are you investing in Chinese stocks? Brother, that's not a real thing.
The world, the Europeans project weakness, the U.S. projects strength.
Donald Trump's threats clearly came as a shock here in Downing Street. Sir Keir Starmer has invested a lot of time and energy cultivating a close connection with him to strengthen the special relationship. Now the American president's trampled all over that.
Bro, the CIA will assassinate leftists over bananas. Are they really going to let Trump molest the money like that? I don't think you understand. The CIA is assassinating everybody else at the behest of Trump. We are now the bananas, okay? Greenland is the bananas. The CIA is not working outside of the confines of the administration. The CIA is working hand in hand with the administration, lockstep. Greenland is the bananas. Venezuela is the bananas. Europe is the bananas. Maybe Canada is the bananas. That's the problem. We are banana-ifying countries that never thought they would be a banana before, okay? Countries that thought, oh, well, we're fucking European countries. Like, what? It's not going to come after us. Like, the fuck? As long as we play ball, we're fine. Nope. Turns out everyone is a banana.
The question is how to respond. While the government wants to sound tough and don't want to be provocative, Lee Sinandi was reluctant to discuss the possibility of retaliating with tariffs of our own or potentially cancelling the King's state visit, as the Liberal Democrats are demanding.
Sir Keir Starmer has now spoken to President Trump after a flurry of diplomatic calls with the leaders of Denmark, NATO and the European Commission. We're told he informed the US president
thank you for the 100
he's wrong
gifted
to apply
subs.
tariffs.
The Piker Broadcasting Service is sponsored by you, the viewers, for you, the viewers. Your voluntary contributions is the only way to support the show, the Piker Broadcasting Service, PBS. Sponsored by you, the viewers, for you, the viewers.
His allies.
In a little bit,
transatlantic divide.
in approximately 5 to 10 minutes, Arky is going to be here, and we are going to move on to some fun stuff.